work to continually choose the other person and become one. When Jeff and I got married, I quit my job so I could travel with him. Sounds dreamy, right? He was gone all the time back then, and I simply wanted to be with him. It was good for our marriage, and we made incredible memories, but with it came a lot of identity issues I had to work through. Those issues were compounded by getting married, then quitting my job, then having a baby, and then trying to figure out where I fit into this new life. I began praying that we could move back to Maui, a place where my soul felt at home and where the Lord had brought me a lot of healing and freedom. And miraculously, God made a way for us to make that move, but it didn't play out the way I thought it would. Our main reason for moving to Maui was to be in community with other young families, something that we didn't have in Washington. Since I had lived there previously, I figured finding friendships and community would be easy and was something that would happen quickly. And yet that first year was one of the loneliest I had ever experienced. Jeff was traveling a lot since he had made previous plans before our move, so it took longer to dive into relationships here. But many of my friends I had previously known had moved away, and my time to connect with old friends who remained was more limited because now I had a family. Plus, making new friends as a mom is kinda tricky. Shoot, making new friends as an adult is hard. Sometimes it felt like I was dating all over again. I would meet someone at a park, exchange numbers, and then try to plan a play date. But would we actually connect in the few minutes we had to talk between interruptions and potty breaks? And would our kids get along well with each other? One day, I was sitting in my room while my oldest daughter, Kinsley, took her afternoon nap. Tears ran down my cheeks onto my open Bible. Drop, drop, drop. I felt so lonely and rejected. I know no one was actually rejecting me, but here it was, months after we moved to Maui, and I still didn't have any friends. Not ones I felt comfortable enough with to call on a whim and hang out with. Not ones to really pour my heart out to. Not ones to be in my daily life. I had tried multiple times to get together with another mom, but it just didn't seem to be working. I would finally gather up enough courage to text someone, only to have them respond with a, "Sorry, can't today," or not respond until much later. Finding mom friends with the same napping schedule was hard during that season, and having dinner with friends was rarer since Jeff was gone a lot. After hearing a friend say she couldn't get together, not out of spite at all, but simply because it didn't work with their schedule, I would go into a deep hole for a week until I got the courage to ask someone else, most of the time coming up empty-handed again. My lonely heart ached. I thought God had made a way for us to move to Maui so we could have community. But why was that not happening? Why was this so painful? There were tons of young families here, and yet I was still alone every day. Then I remembered what my friend Leslie had said. Alyssa, let your loneliness push you into God's presence. Loneliness is so painful, yet God redeems it. He uses it to draw us into his presence. Either I could see my loneliness as a great wound and sulk in it, or I could let it lead me to the presence of Jesus. I wrote in my Bible, "Lord, may I long to dwell with you and to dwell in your courts more than anything else." No matter how lonely I was or how long the loneliness would last. No matter if I made a friend the next day or if it took years to develop roots. My God was with me always, and he longed for me to dwell with him. It's there that I would find a true friend, a true comfort, a true counselor. Sometimes I desperately ached for Jesus to be with me. Wouldn't it be so much more comforting if he could just appear and physically hold me? I found myself crying out to him, "Father, I wish you could physically be here with me right now. I wish you could physically hold me and I could cry in your arms. What comfort and peace I would find." But every time I have cried that to him, he's reminded me that his spirit is with me always. My helper, comforter, and counselor. Jesus has also provided